Can you share a little bit about your experience with the fashion industry?
My background is from Chile, so my fashion background came from Chile. After I finished university at 22, so then I did some internships, and then 23 I was working at one of the biggest brand in children apparel. That brand is now all around South America. In those days, the workshops, so manufacture, were local. So that was a big income for the local economy, because the ladies could sew the fashion at home, in the workshop. Yeah. So suddenly I noticed this workshop start closing down, and we start manufacturing overseas in Asia. So my question and wonder was how that can possibly be profitable for the business, because I knew we're getting mark up 400% over the price that you buy. So how that can be so good for the business to make your product on the other side of the globe, literally, which means airplane and boat, because the sample come in airplane back to you so you can review it, and then the shipping came from ship, and it take months. So how that can be more convenient than producing your own house? That was my question at 22 years old. No one could answer to me until I start realizing the packaging, because everything comes in plastic. So every single t-shirt comes separate in plastic, in independent packaging. And then you take that packaging in the store to set it up, so you have all this plastic waste. Those days, 25 years ago, I was aware already about that. So my way to create awareness was using the design in printing. So I print phrases like "save the polar bear," "save the forest," like a little bit greeny, without being any political thing in my mind. So that was, and even the labels, I was worried about that, because they were plastic too. So I was the only, we were the only brand that started using recycling paper in the labels 25 years ago. So anyways, so when I noticed all these concerns that I have too many concerns working in that industry. I have so much fun, don't get me wrong. I love the VIP, I love the fashion shows, I love the photo shooting with the children, it was amazing. However, I knew something was wrong. And now I know completely. I understand completely what was wrong. No one listened to me. Now we have rubbish in the oceans, we have mass production of polyester. We have, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna go in that way, but it's really hard. So then I moved to completely, because my thinking was quite different in the industry. I had a blog, and in those days the blogs were very popular. So I had a blog where I used a methodology that's called cool hunting, which is a methodology used in fashion. So you go around and have a look what the patterns are. Fashion doesn't come as a miracle. It comes from people who go outside, observe patterns, come back and say, this is the color, it's getting there. If we use this color, we push it, and it's gonna become a trend. Adidas, Apple, all those brands do that. So I will start talking about that in my blog, and I did like a bit of espionage in design, so industrial design, fashion design, etc. and I didn't say my name. I had a avatar. Yeah, so with that avatar, I could criticize. And with that avatar, my articles were published in other magazines and newspapers, stuff like that. And then, because that, I got headhunted by an organization that put me in innovation. And that was my new career. That is last 4 years before I came to Australia. So I was working in innovation for the government. So
was that the Chilean government?
Yes, yep. Chilean government. Then, because I have all this background, work when I were living in here, I start. I like crafting too. And while I was studying in Melbourne at university, RMIT, visual merchandising, which is part of the fashion area, I met these people who have a studio in Brunswick, in Fitzroy, where I used to live. And they are social enterprise. So that's where I start to start reconnected with fashion, because it was like the good side of the fashion. So they were helping these migrants from Africa and using their skill in sewing or teaching them how to sew and designing the fabrics and making clothing and selling in this studio. So I said, oh my God, your fabrics are so beautiful. You know, do you have offcuts? Of course, come and pick them up. And those days I didn't drive, so I have to carry plastic bags of rubbish plastic bag of, 6 kilos each in the tram with offcuts to my place, which it was a room in a share house, second floor, Brunswick. You know, I have a mattress and a little table, and I start using the fabrics and making brooches and necklace. Brooches and necklaces, and selling them in series. The sustainable community in Melbourne series.
Okay.
Then in Friend of the Earth, which is another eco community, and they sold very good because it was the right target market. Off-cut, fashionable. Then I went to markets, and in Melbourne obviously it's very funky and it is a lot more variety of ideas and styles. And then that's when I moved to Perth and work in Remisa and start I did volunteer for Red Cross before that. And because I have this visual merchandising skill, in one of the op shop, I went there and I had lucky enough that the manager let me do whatever I want. So I changed the floor plan, the windows, and the sales start increasing, and more people come in through the front door. And then the regional manager asked me if I would like to do that in other stores. And then they offered me a position, so I became store manager and one of the most popular op shop in WA. And that's how I was also designated to work with the Perth Fashion Festival in the Sustainable Catwalk, which it was a program that we developed working with different Red Cross op shops and Vinnie's and the other ones and Salvers. So all that group, we link each brand with a blogger, a fashion blogger, and we have this challenge for them of dress themselves with a budget of $10 a day. So the fashion bloggers did an amazing job, amazing. They went to shopping in the each designated store, which was the store that I was managing. And also we work with volunteers, pick up a few volunteers for them become models in the catwalk. So it was an exchanging of the one already knew what I'm doing, were the fashion bloggers, but with a budget of $10, and then the one they didn't know anything about it, walking in the fashion festival. So that was the sustainable part of the fashion that I really love it. And then I become a mom, and that's it. The other thing that I did, with my link with the government network that I had in Chile. So they have an agency in each country. So the Chilean one is in Sydney. So one of the brand. So what they do, it's like brand Tasmania, but it's Chilean brand in each country. So they're in charge of do businesses and import Chilean product into each country. So obviously the main focus is lithium. Then you have fruit and veggies. So 3 years ago, I think it was signed the avocados trade between Chile and Australia. So this agency do the trades between the two governments. So 5 years ago, they have a bit of budget put aside for design. And I was contacted to support this project. So what that project was about is bring different designers. So you choose the brand, bring them to Australia, showcase them in the biggest fashion trade show, which is in Melbourne and Sydney once a year, Life in Style. And that is a boutique show. So you don't buy from there. You trade and order. You make your order. So if you are the boutique owner, you go there, you have a look, and you choose the product that you want to put in your boutique. You order, and then you get it to your boutique. Okay. You don't buy.
Yeah, you don't
it's
buy.
Not transaction. It's not money transaction.
Yeah.
So I was in charge of that project for 2 years when I was living in Victoria, and that it was fantastic because we put one brand in here in Tasmania, in Hobart, Salamanca, a shoe brand, handmade in Chile with recycled rubber and sustainable leather. We put another brand in Queensland, which is vegan leather.
So when you say you put them there, they were
it's
going
mean
into
people bought them.
boutiques. Yeah, okay.
So you showcase in this show, and I was the person to represent each brand with the designers in there, because the designers travel, bring the samples, and the Chilean agency pay for the stall, which is between $15,000 and $20,000 for a week. And then pay me, and they bring the designers, showcase them, and they need someone to close the deal. So the designers start talking with you as a boutique owner, and they can answer the questions, but then when they come in the trade, that's when I jump in. And where are you located? Which part? Yes, I know your boutique. No, I don't know your boutique. I have never been there. I'm going to visit there. So when do you want the order? La, la, la.
Yeah.
And I close the deal.
Yeah.
So that was my job on the end. But before that was train these designers how to sell their brand.
The Chilean designers.
Yes, the Chilean designers to identify their value point. So like one of the issues that we always had, that any designer that you ask them, Why should I buy your dress? Because it's beautiful. Because it's handmade. Okay, that's good, but it's not good enough. You need to go deeper and deeper and deeper, because beauty is objective. You know, what is beautiful for you is not for me. So then when you start talking about where your inspiration comes from, where your manufacture is, where your fabric is made, what's the ink do you use, what the textile do you use, is from a cow, is from where's the cow, where the cow live, where the, you know, that's where you get in,
Yeah.
and that's where you find your value point. And that's where it sells, and that's what the boutique owner want. They want to say to the customer, this is being processed in the Andes next to the sun.